Another night of protests in Grand Rapids, but this one ended much earlier and much differently than Saturday night. The National Guard was there and several people were arrested. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nick Lefebvre. Juliet is off. Elsewhere across the country, protests still taking place as people demand justice in the death of George Floyd. This is a look at Washington, D.C., where police tried to disperse the crowds with tear gas. Police forced crowds from a park near the White House. But we start here at home. And as we just said, protesters hit the streets of Grand Rapids again tonight. They weren't there that long. 13 on your side's Nate Belt joins us now to talk about the National Guard that was there and the swift arrests that were made, Nate.
Well, Nick, as you mentioned at the top of the show, a little bit different than Saturday night. I was out here on both nights, and tonight was relatively peaceful, at least until that 7 o'clock curfew stepped in. Now I'm going to step to the side so we can show you here real quick. The barricade is still up here with there's some dump trucks out here at Fulton and Ionia right now. This barricade was actually several National Guard vehicles, and this is where all of the protesting today happened. This is the end of what began as a peaceful afternoon.
I've been fighting back, but now my people out here, I hope they finna fight with me.
The crowd gathered in front of a line of National Guardsmen, GRPD officers, and other local law enforcement agencies.
Black Lives Matter!
Chants were directed all afternoon by the crowd at law enforcement, many calling for GRPD Chief Eric Payne to march with the protesters, like has happened in other cities. Chief Payne addressed the crowd and said he would not join today, but plans to at a protest on Wednesday.
This is an unpermitted demonstration. If they wanted to organize and we can sit and talk about that, how that could be done, I'd be the first, I'd lead the pack.
Protester Milton Brown says he wasn't downtown on Saturday night, but he has no problem with what happened.
That's the only way that they're going to understand something. When you go back and you look at all changes from history, it was always something tore up. It was always something tore up.
As the 7 p.m. curfew approached, protesters were warned that any who stayed would be arrested, and after many refused to leave, tear gas canisters flew. Several were arrested on the spot. At least one was hit with a non-lethal round.
They attacked us, and we didn't do nothing but back up.
Well, the streets right now almost completely empty. Pretty much all the vehicles I've seen since being back here have been law enforcement vehicles. We've had every once in a while another driving by, but pretty empty. That curfew is in effect until 5 a.m. tomorrow. Live in Grand Rapids, Nate Belt, 13 on your side.